The success of UNM athletics has had a positive impact on Albuquerque's economy, but with the ever-changing nature of college athletics and NIL, the university is calling upon local businesses here in the city to continue supporting them for continued success. And local arts organizations are concerned about the National Endowment for the Arts canceling its Challenge America grant and the impact it'll have on underserved communities. From the Albuquerque Journal, this is the leading news. I'm Gino Gutierrez. I'll have more on those stories in a few moments, plus a look at the Journal's other headlines and Albuquerque's weather forecast on the other side of this break.
This episode is brought to you by the Kirtland Partnership Committee. For 30 years, we've been dedicated to supporting, growing, and preserving the Kirtland National Security Complex. We work tirelessly to enhance military readiness, foster community partnerships, improve quality of life, and promote economic development right here in New Mexico. Join us in our mission to ensure that Kirtland remains a cornerstone of national security and a key provider of quality jobs and investment for all of Greater Albuquerque. Together, we can make a powerful impact. Kirtland Partnership Committee, proudly shaping the future of our national security for 30 years.
The University of New Mexico's athletic successes are translating into major economic benefits for Albuquerque. Speaking at a luncheon hosted by the Greater Albuquerque Chamber of Commerce, UNM Athletic Director Fernando Lovo, President Garnet Stokes, and head football coach Jason Eck highlighted the department's impact, citing a study that found Lobo Athletics generates $75.2 million annually in local economic activity. Over the past 3 years, Lobo athletic events have contributed over $150 million in revenue to the city. Beyond direct financial impact, UNM's nationally televised games have provided an estimated $252 million in advertising value, with Lobo football alone generating $97 million in organic exposure last season. Coach Eck emphasized the promotional power of televised games, showcasing Albuquerque's unique culture and boosting tourism and local businesses. However, UNM athletics faces financial challenges, including distributing $20.5 million in student-athlete payments and $5 million in NIL back pay. With one of the lowest athletic budgets in the Mountain West, UNM must navigate these costs while remaining competitive. Despite these hurdles, Lovo expressed optimism, urging collaboration between the university and local businesses to sustain success. And as Journal staff reporter Sean Ryder tells us, Lovo and UNM are looking to change the perception of Albuquerque into a college town.
These are really interesting times for college athletics, and Albuquerque is maybe not typically thought of as kind of a college town, but certainly, UNM, a lot of people up towards the top there would like it to start being viewed that way, and I think it's more attainable than a lot of people probably think.
Saying, quote, "By supporting one another and working towards a shared vision, we can achieve all of our dreams and aspirations." Leaders of local art organizations are concerned about the National Endowment for the Arts canceling its Challenge America grant for underserved communities and overhauling its Grants for the Arts Projects program. The changes will prioritize patriotic projects tied to America 250, a Trump administration initiative celebrating the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence in 2026.
Well, it seems that they're being directed by the Trump administration, and Donald Trump signed 2 executive orders, one saying that federal funds couldn't go to any organization that's promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, and another executive order saying that federal funding couldn't go to organizations that are promoting what the administration calls gender ideology.
Journal reporter Logan Beitman covers arts for the paper and sat down with me earlier to discuss some concerns and fallout from the grants.
And so then part of the new NEA directives are saying that any organization receiving NEA funding has to comply with those executive orders, and that's causing a lot of concern.
Andrew Connors, who's the director of the Albuquerque Museum, worries that these shifts could limit funding for diverse and contemporary art exhibits. Similarly, Barbara Twist of the Film Festival Alliance criticized new grant conditions requiring compliance with President Trump's executive order, rescinding diversity, equity, and inclusion programs, calling them, quote, potentially discriminatory. Some, like Jock Paisner of the Santa Fe International Film Festival, remain cautiously optimistic but acknowledge industry-wide concerns about grants being rescinded. The NEA is promising continued support for diverse arts projects, but has yet to clarify the full impact of these policy changes. Many arts leaders are waiting for further guidance in an upcoming NEA webinar on February 18th. If you like hearing all of the latest news from the Albuquerque Journal here on the Leading News, consider becoming a digital subscriber to the Albuquerque Journal. You can check our show notes for a discount code on a digital subscription and keep up with all the latest news from New Mexico's leading news source. In other headlines from the newsroom, 14 states, led by New Mexico, have filed a lawsuit against Elon Musk and President Donald Trump, challenging Musk's authority as head of the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE. The lawsuit, filed in federal court in Washington, D.C., argues that Musk's appointment was unconstitutional since it was not approved by Congress. New Mexico Attorney General Raul Torres criticized Musk's sweeping actions, stating that he was overstepping presidential authority by dismantling federal agencies and accessing sensitive government data. The suit demands an immediate restraining order to prevent Musk from altering federal funding, firing employees, or issuing executive orders. The lawsuit is part of a broader illegal push against Trump's administration, which has taken controversial steps to limit immigration, weaken civil service protections, and remove agency leaders. Michigan's Attorney General Dana Nessel accused DOGE of illegally collecting sensitive personal data from Americans and called Musk's role an unconstitutional seizure of power. In a separate lawsuit, 26 USAID employees and contractors are also challenging Musk's authority, asking a Maryland court to halt his actions unless he is officially nominated or confirmed by the Senate. Torres warned that allowing Musk unchecked control over federal agencies is reminiscent of historical abuses of power. A 19-year-old Albuquerque high school senior, Charles Madrid, has been arrested and charged with murder after fatally stabbing a man on a city bus. Madrid, a student at Mark Jaramillo Academy, allegedly attacked the 44-year-old victim after a brief verbal exchange, stabbing him in the neck and leaving him for dead on the bus floor. After the attack, Madrid went to school wearing bloody clothes, telling the staff he had been in a fight. He later asked to go home, and staff drove him to a residence in southeast Albuquerque. Hours later, the school's executive director, Sean Morris, saw news reports of a stabbing and contacted police, who later identified Madrid as the suspect through bus surveillance footage. The video repeatedly shows Madrid standing up during the dispute involving other passengers, before approaching the victim and attacking him. Madrid later claimed he acted in self-defense, believing he couldn't overpower the larger man with punches alone. Morris, who has known Madrid since middle school, described him as a student who had faced hardships but was on track to graduate. Police arrested Madrid after school staff provided information linking him to the crime. And New Mexico State Treasurer Laura Montoya has criticized President Donald Trump's proposed tariffs, calling them, quote, damaging and destructive to the state's economy, which heavily relies on imports from Mexico. Speaking alongside treasurers from California and Colorado, Montoya warned that these tariffs could disrupt key industries, including oil and gas, agriculture, healthcare, and construction. Mexico is New Mexico's largest trade partner, providing $2.5 billion in imports annually. Montoya emphasized that tariffs on Mexican goods would increase costs for critical industries, particularly oil and gas, which depends on imported machinery. Additionally, New Mexico's agricultural sector, which includes cattle, pecans, and hatch green chili, could suffer from higher prices and reduced production. Medical equipment, which accounts for 40% of New Mexico's imports from Mexico, could also become more expensive, potentially limiting access to health care. Montoya's concerns were echoed by California Treasurer Fiona May, who warned that tariffs could harm ports and eliminate jobs. Trump's tariffs, including a 10% tax on Chinese goods and a 25% levy on steel and aluminum, are part of broader trade policies aimed at boosting U.S. revenue. However, Montoya and other state officials argue they could backfire, slowing economic growth and increasing costs for businesses and consumers. Now taking a look at Albuquerque's weather forecast, rain showers are likely today, mainly after 2 p.m., mostly cloudy with a high near 62. And tonight, a 30% chance of showers before 11 p.m., partly cloudy with a low around 30. To keep up with all the latest news from the Albuquerque Journal, you can visit our website at abqjournal.com. For the leading news, I'm Gino Gutierrez.